Yo, what is for once again with the homie gaming Forte. I am Slow Mo Backslap, and we're here to have a great show, man. I hope you guys are able to tune in, and hope you guys also have a great time as well. Shout out a couple people in the chat real quick. Shout out to that guy. You guys being here so early, before we got started. But yeah, did want to shout you guys out real quick. Forte, how you doing, man?
Hey man, ready to sell PlayStations tomorrow. And beat this
PlayStations.
Halo Infinite.
I thought you,
PlayStations tomorrow, man.
I thought you had. Oh, no, but we had a conversation. You were talking about how you were getting like
Xbox is next week,
next
23rd.
week. Okay, so you were getting like 70 plus Xbox Series X's in next week, but
We
that's.
out here killing them.
But you getting PlayStations in. What PlayStations are you getting so far? How many? How many?
I believe 60. Yeah, 60.
60 just for your
Yeah,
store alone.
yeah.
Well, I mean, it is the holiday. It is the
That's the second time we got that many though.
how fast did they go?
Couple. Last time they lasted to about 1 p.m. Like 12:30, 1 p.m. We opened at 10, so 3 hours. I
You
don't expect
sold
these to be
60 PlayStations in
in
3
3
hours?
hours. Mm-hmm.
Bro, no. I look, I'm so glad I don't work retail, man.
Yep. And tomorrow I would be surprised if it goes longer than 2 hours, hour and a half for the amount that we have.
Are you seeing a lot of parents, picking them up because it's like, it's December, it's close to
It's still a lot of.
Christmas.
It's actually still a lot of like people that's like get like gamers that really want them, not just it is the holiday, so
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if 20 to 30% of those still go to holiday people.
right.
But for the most part, it's a lot of people that just they they know this is their last opportunity to get a
To get
PlayStation
one
probably in
before,
retail this year.
yeah, this year, yeah. Because
Because
like
who knows when the restock's going to be after this?
right, because like I think it was MPD that showed that like, um, for November, of course, because we don't have stats for this year yet. But in November, it was saying that the sales for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X are lower this year than they were last year, which
Hmm.
kind of makes sense because last year, for year over year, that's the launch
Well,
of
they
the
got
of the
every
yeah.
yeah.
So they had like maximum inventory for that, when they first launched the system, and now they're kind of struggling to try to just keep up with demand, which probably the reason why so many people just decide to just what, screw it, I'll pick up an Xbox Series S. Why
Right.
not, right? It's like
But at
I'm
this
clearly
point,
not
yeah.
getting the one that I want right now, so I'll just get this for $300 while I wait for what I really looking for. But yeah,
Hmm.
but outside of that, man, how you been? What games you been playing, man?
Nothing but beginning of honestly, this week, yeah, actually nothing but Halo. Honestly, I know I was talking to you about it, and it's like I get in these kind of modes because I haven't beat Halo yet, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm in this mode right now where once I start seeing an open world, I just start completing everything in a particular area. I don't know if I ever told you this story with me, but it kind of goes back to like Breath of the Wild for me because I didn't beat Breath of the Wild like when before the DLC came out. I am one of those people like if I beat a game before all the content is out, I mean I think me and you did talk about this, but if I beat a game before the content comes out, it's kind of hard for me to go back and play that like to go play content that is kind of weaved into the story progression of something that you already beat. It just doesn't seem like focused enough.
Mm-hmm.
So for Breath of the Wild, I waited for all the DLC. I waited for the Ballad of Champions to come out because it was all stuff that was tied into the story. And then I went and beat the game. And that was like a good 5 or 6 months after the game came out when they finally came out with that DLC. So I was sitting there with like 120 hours on my my playthrough, and still haven't beat the game. And people say, "Hey, did you beat the game?" I say, "No, not yet. I know how it's going to end with, because all I had to do was literally just go fight Ganondorf, and it would have been over. But I didn't want to do it." And it's like that with me in Halo, because like I'm at a part now where like once you go in there, you can't go back into the open world until the game is officially over. Like you beat the campaign.
So you're close to the part where basically it's that kind of like that threshold of no return. They normally give you actually I don't think with this game they did that.
But it's just like Mass Effect, where once you hit the mission before the suicide mission, once they take your people, you have one loyalty mission that you can do, and after that loyalty mission, you have to go and do the suicide mission if you still want the chance for your people to survive. But you still have a choice there. Whereas this,
But they normally tell you though. They normally tell you that's the case. They
don't though.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. In this game, they don't tell you that's the case, which is odd because usually a game tells you, "Hey, look, just make sure you've tied up all your loose ends, dotted all the I's, crossed all the T's." Because once you say yes to this, you can't go back to anything that's left unfinished. They normally give you a warning of that, but I don't recall seeing a warning of that when I was playing through the game.
Everybody, because I was trying to, I figured out how you open that bridge now. It's something that you have to trigger beforehand. But that was what kind of made me do it, because I'm like, how the heck do you get to this other island? I want to get over here. I want to do these FOBs. It's basically Hotel Juliet, November.
Hold on. Let's not get too deep into Halo Infinite, because...
Well, no, I'm just saying. That's where I'm at. I haven't beat it yet, just because I want to finish the open world stuff beforehand. Because once I beat the game, I'm pretty much just going to be multiplayer only until either some new DLC comes out or they add some new story content, which I guess is still new DLC. But I'm pretty much done with the game until either the new DLC come out or they add co-op, where I'll go through it with somebody else in co-op, probably in Legendary at that point. But that's why I want to finish it with everything, because I don't want to go through the game again to get all that stuff all over again and play it again after that. But that's it. That's all I've been pretty much doing.
My mic sounds choppy. Guys, is my mic still messed up? I just disconnected or reconnected it.
You were in and out for a second, but it kept coming back. So it does.
Okay, it may be that wouldn't be Discord, at least not on my end, because I'm hosting it. Guys, just let me know if it's still bad right now. It's better. Okay, good. Sorry about that. Sorry, and thank you for the feedback. For myself, let's see. I've been playing a lot of different games. I did want to. Hey, remember how everybody was upset? And we talked about this last week on DPS after the Video Game Awards. We did our little after the show discussion. Shout out to Ramon. Shout out to Enrique for joining us for that.
Right.
We were talking about how, like Final Fantasy 7 Remake, man, great that's coming to PC. There are certain segment of PC gamers that don't like that it's Epic's Game Store exclusive as of the moment. Okay, it is what it is. There also are some some gamers who were extremely upset with the fact that it was $70. And Square Enix seems to be just going forward with just basically like, yo, we don't care. We don't care what PC gamers say they're gonna play. We are all about that $70 going forward for everything. Well, guess what your boy did? Your boy got Final Fantasy 7 Remake on PC, and I ain't spent $70 for it.
Green Man Gaming discount?
Well, no, look, see, I checked Green Man Gaming and I couldn't find it, and I'm just like, yo, what's going on? I was wondering, like, maybe like Epic was trying to, because it's been real weird. They announced it. They said it's going to come out on the 16th, and like you have not been able to pre-order it since the announcement. And then, like, literally even yesterday, you still couldn't pre-order it. Yesterday, it comes out in mere hours. Like, why? So, of course, we get to today and it's available $69.99, and I'm just like,
What? Wait, hold on. It's $69.99.
yes, it is. Yes.
Oh my god.
No, hold on. Check this out. Check this out. Right.
Go ahead.
So a little bit later in the day, Epic does an update on their store. They got a Christmas sale going.
Okay.
They're giving everybody a $10 discount.
Oh, the $10 discount code. Okay.
Yeah. So like, but now initially the way they had it set up and the way they marketed it was like, there's a $10 discount for select games. And I looked at the select games, and it was, some cool games in there, like Red Dead 2, like GTA, a whole, like, somewhat, common games that you see, some games that just came out a few months ago. Yeah, hey, you can get that game, you can get it, and it's not just $10 off. That's it. It's $10 off every single game. So if you put 3 games in your cart, you're going to get $30 off.
Right.
Which is cool. But I didn't see Final Fantasy 7 Remake on there. And so I'm sitting here just like, well, like I added it to my cart. I don't see anything. I'm like, what's going on? I don't see it within the sale items. I'm like, man, they really going to do me like that with Final Fantasy? All right, well, let's see what's going on. So I started noticing that, like, the website was really freaking out, and I went online on Twitter to see, and they announced they're like, yeah, they're getting a lot more traffic than they thought they were going to get, and they're kind of struggling with that, but bear with us, and so on and so forth, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, you know what, let's see if I can add this coupon to this game, even though their coupon seems to be strictly only for games that are within the items that are to be sold. And it's not one of those games. And it had to be at least $15 or more, which clearly this game is, right?
Right.
Long story short, I got the coupon on there. Initially, it gave me an error, and I was like, let's try this again. I tried it again, and it was like $10 off. With taxes came to $63. I said, sold. So I got the game. I got it for $60. What I want to do, I probably I don't know if they have a benchmark on it, testing on it on the PC version. I'm gonna benchmark it, and then I'm probably going to play through it again on PC for the third time.
You don't know what I'm gonna end up probably doing, bro. PC wise, now that you bring that up.
Oh, what, the Pirate Life?
Oh, no.
You about to go Jack Sparrow on Square Enix?
No, I ain't gonna do that.
Oh, okay.
No, did you hear? You heard about what got announced by AMD yesterday, right?
No.
Not that it got announced, but what got rumored leaked by them yesterday, right?
No.
AMD Ryzen 7900X, 40% more efficient and more powerful than the 5950X, which is their top of the end consumer processor that I have right now. That I literally.
Oh, you about to take it back?
A month ago.
You about to take it back?
Oh, it's hey, listen. I'm like 2 seconds. Oh, damn, my phone ringing. I am literally almost 2 seconds away from ripping this out my PC, putting my 8700K in there, and waiting because they.
You can't. Well, time. You can't. You hold on. You can't put a Intel CPU into your PC, right?
That's not an Intel. No. Oh no, I still got my motherboard. I still got everything.
Oh, okay. Okay. You gonna switch the motherboard? I'm about to say. Because you just said, put my 8700K CPU in there. I'm just like,
oh no. Yeah,
how?
I change the motherboard and everything.
Right.
The other motherboard, but I still have it. It's still sitting here. Might be doing it, bro. I don't know.
They're saying Forte, turn your mic up. Don't worry, I will turn Forte up. If they're saying that you are low, don't do anything. I got you.
Okay.
All right. Guys, is that better for Forte? Just let me know. Weird how the audio is a bit off today, but anyway, let's go ahead and get into it, man. As you can see here with the gameplay that's running, I am playing Warframe for the first time in a long time. This is running on Xbox Series S, not the amazing looking Warframe running on PC the way I wanted to run, because they haven't come out with the crossplay and cross progression patch yet. But it is what it is, you know. Like the new War came out today. I wanted to try it, and I did my stream earlier today, lunchtime with Slow Mo on Twitch, and I tried out the gunk. Not for me. Not for me. I'm not gonna.
Oh, man, don't qualify it like that, man. Who you try it out for then, other than for you?
I tried it out because people was like, yo, you should try out the gunk. And I said, well,
anytime we try to make you do anything, you sit there saying, no, man, I ain't doing it. You wanted to play the gunk so you can see what the gunk was like. Now you want to put it off on your viewers and say, it wasn't me that wanted to play the gunk. They wanted
it wasn't me. I have never spoke highly of the gunk. Because people ask for it, you know. I try to be a people pleaser, you know. I try to please the.
Let me tell you what people. Does it sound like people pleasing when you make people have to spend 50,000 channel points to make you play a game? Does that sound like people pleasing, sir?
I could just choose not to ever play the game.
Well, you didn't have. Well, I'm just trying to say, don't be trying to put this off on your viewers and your subscribers by saying, "Hey, yo, you should play the gunk." No, you wanted to play the gunk. You wanted
I didn't.
Yourself. That's
Look,
all it is.
Hey,
that you didn't like it or something. Now you want to sit there and say, "Man, that was some trash. I didn't want to play that."
Wow, did I say it was trash? I didn't say that. I said it was not for me.
Is it?
I said
so it's not for you.
Yeah, it's not for me.
A lot of you say Destiny's not for you too, and you say that's trash anyways too.
Yeah. By the way, you're okay now. Your mic is very. I don't know. This might be a Discord issue. I think this might be Discord, because like
Discord's not even reading my regular mic. That's the thing. I'm like, what the world is going on with Discord?
All right, maybe drop out and drop back in. I don't know if that will help, but yeah, like it's because like you don't sound the same. You don't sound quite right.
I don't sound as crispy as I normally sound. You know, when you're not using a $400 mic, it makes a difference.
What kind of mic are you using?
Not a $400 mic.
Clearly doesn't sound like that same level of quality. Ramon is what's up? And Ramon Terrell in the chat. K Asante is in the chat. He said K says he's here for the slander, as usual. And
he's here for the slander because you're up here frauding right now.
How am I? Yo, look, this is the second time somebody tried to say I was frauding this week. It wasn't correct the first time. It ain't correct this time either. Yeah. I played the game. People said, hey, would you try this game? I tried it. I didn't like it. Where's the fraudery?
Okay. Sounds good.
Exactly. Thank you. So shout out to Erodimus here with the $5 super chat. He says, am I hearing this right, Slow? Don't want to play black woman protagonist game. Shaking my head. Not like this, my brother. What? Wait. Are you talking about the gunk? I guess that one character is black. How do
I sound now?
Much better. Much better.
Yes, it's good. It's good to have the regular mic back. Let's go.
All right. I'm gonna turn you. I'm gonna turn you back down.
Turn me back down now.
Yeah.
This is the difference between a Astro A50 mic and a Shure SM7B.
That Astro mic. Well, Astro mics are always awful, so I'm not surprised.
It's a $300 headset with a $2 mic on it.
Yeah, it's pretty awful. Sound way better now. And Erodimus is talking about, yes, that the one black protagonist, that the character with the I guess vacuum on her hand or her arm. Look, the gunk is just. It is a platformer where you are sucking up gunk and as well as pretty much everything in the environment that can be detached from things. And that it was
You
boring.
sound like you really enjoyed yourself.
No, yeah. I was definitely bored.
It's in
But
Game
no,
Pass, right?
yes, it is. That's the only reason why it was tried. Is because it was in Game Pass. Clearly, like after
Was it
that, I
free?
did
Yeah.
try to do Warframe: The New War because the expansion came out today. But there's prerequisites to play the New War. You gotta
Do
have a
bunch of stuff that
railjack,
you ain't do.
huh?
You gotta do a bunch of stuff that you ain't caught up on.
Yep. You have to have a railjack. You have to have and a necromech. I have neither of those, and so I try to quickly get those done. And what you're seeing here is the gameplay of myself trying to get through the railjack quest. I see why people were really upset with the railjack, like the Warframe community, because railjack sucks. That quest is awful, man. It's literally the same mission over and over and over again. Like you do a mission, it's basically you go to a place and then you're waiting it out and just take it on like waves and waves of enemies waiting for staying in close proximity to a wreckage so that you could get a piece of equipment that you would attach to this railjack ship that you're creating. At one of the relays, and then you just keep doing the same thing, rinse and repeat over and over and over again until you get all the pieces. It's annoying. And then what really irked me at the end of all of that grinding I was doing was that I had to have an argon crystal that I didn't have. And so, like, every time you install a piece, you got to have all these materials in order for it to really, like, actually start to get installed. And I tried to do that, and I was good until the very last piece. I had to have an argon crystal, and I tried. I couldn't even remember where to go to get those. I think it was somewhere in the void. I tried to do a void mission. It's just like whatever. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. I was upset. And I know what they want me to do. They want me to spend platinum.
Oh yeah.
They want me to spend money on buying in the market a railjack and a necromech so I can go ahead and play the New War. But I refuse. I absolutely refuse. So, but that's what I was playing just today. I've been playing a whole bunch of stuff, of course. Actually been playing some Persona 5 Royal on PS5. Been playing a little bit of 13 Sentinels. I still haven't finished 13 Sentinels. That came out last year. I'm trying to get that done. I've been dipping and dabbing. I beat the Halo Infinite campaign. We're going to discuss that later on. And I've been playing a bunch of games as usual. You know how I do. But
you all over the place, man. I'll give you that.
Erodimus asked me, did I ever play Luigi's Mansion? And I wonder if Erodimus knows me or not. Like, I kind of felt like you knew me better than this by now, Erodimus. Did I ever play a Nintendo first-party game that has come out in the past 5 years? The answer is no. Absolutely not.
You should have done it, though.
Why?
It's a good game.
No, it's not. Look, we gonna keep it going.
Listen, man, you often the person that said Animal Crossing isn't a good game. Probably.
No, because Animal Crossing looks like digital NyQuil. Digital NyQuil. That's what those games look like. Digital NyQuil. Like, how can I go to sleep as fast as possible? Let me put on a Nintendo first.
People play that game.
I don't know. They got awful taste. That's all I can say.
What about Zelda? You didn't play Zelda, and mostly everybody had 1-to-1 on that game before it came out.
I'm about to. You know what? I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. We're gonna get to the first topic because if I start talking
Inside Story, any of those games ring a bell. Link's Awakening, Mario Kart. Everybody should play Mario Kart.
Yeah, I played Mario Kart too. When I was like
When on
15 years
Switch?
old. When I was like 15 years old.
Oh my god! Oh, so you played Mario 64?
It ain't that different now than what it was then. So I don't see what the big deal is here. Let's move on to the first topic though. Let's get to the first topic. First topic of tonight is Splinter Cell Remake. So it has come out from Ubisoft that Splinter Cell is actually going to get a remake. And I've been seeing some discussions among people that they're a little upset about that. They didn't want a remake. They wanted a new Splinter Cell, like a new continuation of the story. I'm not a big Splinter Cell fan.
I'm not against this.
You're not? Why not?
No. Because do you know how old Splinter Cell is?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, original Xbox old. Yeah,
right. PS2 original Xbox old. So, those games are I mean, I get the allure of wanting a new one. Now, the caveat that would be is Michael Ironside still doing the voice?
I think he is.
Because if he's not doing the voice, I don't want a remake. I don't want that at all. But it would be, I'd rather them go back and tighten up the mechanics and the overall aesthetic of that game from the past, than keep waiting for a game that seems to be never coming. At least this generation, in my eyes.
Well, this is why, look, I don't have confirmation that Michael Ironside is definitely voicing Sam Fisher again, but the last time they used Sam Fisher, well, excluding the mobile game that no one gives a crap about, the last time they used Sam Fisher in anything was in Ghost Recon Wildlands, where they did the crossover thing where he worked with the Ghost on a mission, and Michael Ironside did the voice then. So that's like the last official time that Sam Fisher showed up in a video game. We got Michael Ironside. So I am under the assumption that that's still going to be the way it is. Like, if they're bringing it back, then it's definitely going to be Michael Ironside that's going to be a part of it. So we got some details out there about it, and coming from Ubisoft, what they said was it's going to be developed by Ubisoft Toronto. It's going to be built on the Snowdrop engine, which, if you know what the Snowdrop engine is, it is the engine that was created for The Division but has been used in various other games in various other ways. It's going to be used for the Avatar game, which is also being developed by Massive Entertainment. Massive Entertainment made the Snowdrop engine itself, so of course, if they're making the Avatar game, it's going to be on Snowdrop. The Ubisoft Star Wars game is also being done by Massive. That's going to use the Snowdrop engine, but it's extremely versatile. Probably not as versatile as like a Unreal Engine is, but Snowdrop engine has been in use with Mario Rabbids. It has been used for South Park, the Fractured But Whole, and so like you look at, like, those are very different games from The Division, but this engine has been used for those games as well. So it doesn't surprise me at all that Ubisoft is going to probably the best game engine that they have that's proprietary to them for this game. Doing a remake is, I think, a smart idea, and here's why. It's a smart idea because there's a whole new generation of gamers out there that never played the original Splinter Cell, and they're never going to. They're just not. They're not going back and playing a backwards compatible original Xbox game. Even if I don't even know if it's backwards compatible or not. Regardless, it doesn't matter. They're not going to play it, and so you're now going to be able to have a fresh experience for newer gamers. They're going to try this game out, and they already know that old school Splinter Cell players are going to play it regardless. They may have wanted a brand new experience. All right, well, tough cookies, you're not getting one. What you going to do, not play the game? No, you're going to play the game because you're a Splinter Cell fan, and you've been begging for a Splinter Cell game for years. So here you go. Now, I do recall we discussed this maybe a month ago, maybe a little bit more than a month ago. I was using the same exact footage I'm using right now because I don't play Splinter Cell like that. So this is Blacklist that you're seeing right now, and yeah. So we were discussing this before because there was rumors out there that they were working on the Splinter Cell, but instead of being a linear, more traditional Splinter Cell experience, it was going to be an open world battle royale. And remember, we discussed that and how like that was such a dumb decision, but it was typical of Ubisoft to be making such a stupid decision. It's good to know that turns out to not be the case, but also shout out to our homie Asian Deli, who's an ex Ubisoft developer, and just like things that he knows based off of like working for Ubisoft pretty recently is that is exactly what it was supposed to be. But considering all of the backlash they've gotten for their various missteps they've had over the past year with their reveals of games, X Defiant, that Ghost Recon Frontline, is it called? I can't remember. Whatever it is, that weird battle royale thing they're doing.
Yeah.
Nobody wants this stuff. And every time they reveal a new game and we tell them we don't want it, and they go, "Oh, we'll sit back and we'll figure this out, and we'll put it back in the oven, and we'll get it to your liking," and then they reveal some other trash that we don't want. It's like it seems like finally it's clicking. Light bulb finally turned on. Nobody wants to play these kind of games from us, so maybe we should give them what they're asking for. I don't know, it's shocker, right? So I did want to go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it's interesting when when they say they want to listen to their listen to the players, listen to the gamers, but they don't listen to the gamers and they don't listen to the players.
Right. It's all public speak. It's all PR speak. We're listening. Right. We hear you. That's words that people say when they're trying to placate you. We hear you. Yes. Yeah. All right. Absolutely. Yeah. I understand how you feel. We're still doing what we're doing. Like it's just like that's just like they're really just trying to get you to shut up so you can just accept what's going to happen. But I do think that like what I was saying about trying to create a game for a new audience is similar to something that says, so like I just pulled up the Ubisoft article. Should I switch this? Let me see if I can pull this up for our screen here. Boop. And hopefully this works correctly. Bam, it did work correctly. All right, so blow that up a little bit. Can y'all read that? Yeah, we go. So
ooh, look at that. Let's go.
All right, so the question was asked, how are you approaching Splinter Cell as a remake? What makes it a remake and not a remaster? Also, by the way, this is coming from Ubisoft itself. Like it's funny how this is like set up as like an article, like a real reporter asked them this, and these aren't just completely like softball questions.
Talking to themselves, basically.
Exactly. Forte. How? Please tell us about how amazing you are at your job. Oh, sure, yeah, I'm great. Yeah. Like it's just like, come on, like what is this? This is not a real interview. Anyway, Matt West, who apparently is a producer on the game, said to me, a remake takes what you do in a remaster and goes a little bit further with it. Okay, we get that. The original Splinter Cell has a lot that was amazing and revolutionary at the time it came out. 19 years ago. The gaming public now has an even more refined palette, so I think it kind of has to be a remake as opposed to a remaster, although we're still in the very earliest stages of development. What we're trying to do is make sure the spirit of the early games remain intact in all the ways that gave early Splinter Cell its identity. So as we're building it from the ground up, we're going to update it visually as well as some or the design elements to match player comfort.
That's a key word right there.
This might be problematic. We might need to talk about that part, as well as some of the design elements to match player comfort and expectations. What does that read to you, Forte?
Let me read. All day, we are still very in the early stages of development. What we're trying to do is make sure that the spirit of the early game remains intact. In all ways, they gave earlier Splinter games, so we are building it from the ground up. So,
Look at the
Wow,
part I
okay.
highlighted.
I see, as well as some of the design elements to match players' comfort and expectations.
Does that okay? Look, what have we seen from single player Ubisoft games? Think about Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Think about those kind of games.
Yeah,
Don't they have XP boosters?
they do. And the question
Don't
is,
you have to pay for XP boosters?
you do, but let me ask the question. They say players' comfort and expectations. So is the comfort version of that basically saying, oh, we're going to make it easy for you to be able to progress through the game, but you got to pay us to do it? And the expectation side, so is that the comfort side of it? But the expectation side is, well, honestly, the expectation side, like, where are they getting the expectation from? Because nobody wants that.
They don't
Nobody-
understand expectations. This is Ubisoft. So like
That's what
their
throws me
idea
off about
of
the whole thing.
expectations is completely different from what our idea of expectations
Yeah,
are.
this is the difference. See, they they tried to throw you off the scent when they put that into that sentence. Like, let's read it again. They say, as well as some of the design elements to match player comfort and expectation. So the player, yes, when they say player comfort, yes, they want you to pay money in order to progress through a game if you feel like it's taking you a while to do it, or if you want to expedite your venture into that game. But the expectation side of it is nothing to do with you. The expectation side of it is, let's put this out there because we know the expectation is people aren't going to want to draw their way through the way that we have our games set up, like Odyssey and Far Cry and stuff like that. And the expectation is they're going to give us money. Because that's what the expectation is.
We expect you to pay us for this.
Yeah, the expectation has nothing to do with you as a gamer. Because the gamer doesn't have that type of expectation. But on the comfort level, they're going to make you super comfortable by making you spend as much money as they possibly can.
Hey, check this out. You remember when I was talking about how this ain't a real interview?
Yeah.
A real interviewer would keyed on to this part here and said, hey, so about these different design elements to match player comfort and expectations, can you expound upon that? That's what a real interviewer would have done. But this ain't a real interview because this is coming from news.ubisoft.com. I'll continue. And we are going, they interviewed themselves, and gave themselves, high fives for hitting layups, and to continue on, we're going to keep it linear like the original games, not even make it open world. Not make it open world. How do we make sure that new fans are able to pick up the controller and dive right in and fall in love with the game and the world right from the get-go? I guess that was a lob to Peter Hangdross. No, I'm already done with it because that's the part that I really wanted to talk about. So we can just go back. So I just find it hilarious that that whole design elements part, man. That's the part that's going to get people. I think some people are going to be upset with that. But I mean, we'll see. But it's good that, hey, look, at least we're getting a Splinter Cell game, even though it may not. It's a remake, and it may. I think probably the story wise would probably be the same story from the original Splinter Cell.
Yeah.
Just play somewhat different, and hey, maybe you'll get some special outfits that you'll pay for, and maybe you'll be able to unlock the entire stealth kit that Sam would have, just for the $10 more, the Splinter Cell I don't know, Fisher edition.
Well, here's the thing. I feel like if Resident Evil can go back and redo all their stuff, Splinter Cell can go and do it too. Like, Splinter Cell Like, it's not as bad. Like, Resident Evil was pretty bad. You know, it was, you know, you try to go back and play those original Resident Evils, it's pretty bad with the tank controls and stuff. And so they definitely need to go back where Splinter Cell was a little bit more modern when it came out. So like you're showing gameplay now. It was done in the 3D age where everything was more fluent in playing and stuff like that. Whereas Resident Evil came off of kind of the box art style. It was still 3-dimensional, but it was still done in boxes and stuff. So
yeah,
it plays a lot better. I just think a lot of people in general, we haven't had a true stealth game, like espionage stealth game, in forever. And I think that's what people are really, really hinging onto. They want to get a new experience. But you got to remember, we're in 2021. Splinter Cell, that's back in 2003 when that game came out and stuff.
It still looks good as far as I'm concerned.
It still looks good, but another Splinter Cell, like, you got to think about, you know, once again, dollars and cents. As much as we want that, dollars and cents says they should reboot the franchise, remaster the original ones because they already have the story points in place. Bring brand new people into the franchise because it's a franchise that's been pretty much dormant for a long time now. Get people excited for the franchise all over again and work your way back up to that brand new release. Now, for the people like, you know, that ushered in the Sam Fisher area that been through all 5 or 6 games, for us, that's like, yo, we don't want that. We want something new. We already did these experiences. But for them, they're like, yo, we got millions of people, hundreds of millions of people that didn't even know what a Splinter Cell was. And we want to tap into that. We want to tap into that. And we're going to, this is the other thing, the expectation side. They expect us, the gamers, the hardcores that love the original Splinter Cell, when we finally get a chance to see what they're cooking and how these remasters are going to look, they're expecting us to go out there and sell it to the people that haven't experienced Splinter Cell. Like, yo, this is like what I remember, but it looks way better. And we're going to make those people excited. And then we're going to get more and more people into the franchise by doing their job in marketing the game. That's the expectation that they're looking at, saying we're going to get more money off of the people that love this franchise. And then we're just going to move forward little by little, pretty much like how Resident Evil is doing, because I think a lot of people aren't realizing that Capcom literally is remastering their #1 franchise of all time. And they're working their way up. And they're working their way up from the bottom all the way through those original ones until they get, well, technically probably to 4 or 5. And then they'll probably stop at that.
If they weren't releasing Resident Evil Village this year, I think they would have at least did a reveal or a trailer for Resident Evil 4 remake, which we're going to get next year. It's just a given at this point.
It's a given.
Right. But I mean, all that said, I guess we can go ahead and finish up the topic. Are you going to get this regardless of what it is?
Oh, absolutely. If it's like I said, as long as Sam Fisher is doing the voice, I'm there. I mean, because you
mean Michael Ironside?
Yeah. What did I say?
You said Sam Fisher. As long as Sam Fisher is doing the voice of Sam Fisher, you're there.
Yeah, as long as Sam Fisher is doing, well, because Michael Ironside is the voice of Sam Fisher. There is no other Sam Fisher. But as long as he's doing the voice, I'm absolutely there. I didn't buy the last one. I think I own it though, because I think Ubisoft gave it to us. But
Blacklist.
I own Blacklist. I just refuse to play Blacklist because it's just, I don't know. It's something about the game, and
I like it.
The gameplay, for what most people say,
I'm not
is really good.
I'm not a stealth guy. Like I don't like these kind of games. But I played Blacklist. I got
Blacklist. I hear you can play it how you want to play.
Yeah, you can. Yeah,
you can go.
I went loud.
All loud if you want.
I went real loud. Like, I mean,
you went loud.
Yeah, I wasn't even trying to pretend like I'm not here. Look, you know I'm coming for you.
Dude, do you remember the reveal trailer? I ain't gonna lie. You remember the reveal trailer that they did where it was the one seamless cut when he was in that little town and they show him do all the different assassination moves and the one-shot kills and pinging everything? You gotta go watch. I watched that video after I saw this. like they were doing this. I went back and looked at that video. It has to be one of the best choreographed parts of like gameplay I've ever seen somebody do. It was just incredible because that's what actually made me interested in Blacklist. But then I found out Micro Ironside wasn't doing a voice, and I like kind of just lost love with it at that point. But it was one of the best gameplay parts I've seen in a game. If you don't remember it, you need to go check it out.
I don't remember it, but I'm pretty sure if I saw it, I would probably be like, oh, okay, all right. I mean, you know, yeah. I see what you mean. I haven't played. Yeah, I mean, like I said, like I probably wasn't too paying too much attention to it because I'm not too big at the stealth. I only play Blacklist because I got Ubisoft Plus on PC. And I got access to their entire library, and I was just like, I've seen it and seen people talk about Blacklist multiple times, and I was like, you know what, let me just go ahead and just install it, and you know, so that it held up pretty well on PC, visually and gameplay wise. I had fun with the 2 or 3 missions that I ended up doing. So I don't think when this remake comes out, I think I'll probably pass. But for those who have been waiting for a Splinter Cell game for so long, you know, I'm happy for them. They're finally going to get another Splinter Cell, even though it's may not be exactly the one that they were a continuation of the story or something that they were actually looking for. But yeah,
I keep looking at YouTube videos and I keep forgetting they removed the dislike button because every video got 100% like on it. I was like, there's no way this video had 100% like on it, and it does.
Well, you know, that's the goal, man. That was the goal, to protect corporations' fragile egos. And it's sad. It's sad though, because part of the reason why we got the Sonic the Hedgehog movie that we got that was received so well is because of the dislike button. People dislike bombed that initial reveal of the Sonic who looks like a monster. He looks disgusting. They dislike that thing to hell. And that let these companies know, and that everyone saw that it was being disliked, and everyone was talking about how bad it looked, allowed, you know, like the company that was producing the movie to go, we gotta change this because this is a guaranteed fail if we don't. And we got like a Sonic that looks like Sonic, and it worked. And now, because they've taken away things that allow people to see when something is not generally liked by the public, that's a method of letting big corporations know what we don't like, and it's gone. And I don't care. I don't want to care about the fact that YouTube's saying, well, the company will still see if it's the dislike. You know, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter because a lot of these companies know when their stuff is being disliked, and they still continue to do what they do anyway. Well, what else was I about to say about that? One big thing for me, because I do a lot of like. You own a house, right? Yep. End up doing a lot of DIY, a lot of do it yourself. I am not the best handyman. I will freely admit that. I am damn awful at fixing things, but I'm good at following instructions. I love going to YouTube to go find things. Sometimes you go to YouTube and the method that someone puts up in the video doesn't work. Doesn't work at all. A good method of determining very early on to not waste your time that a method isn't going to work, you look at the like to dislike ratio. If it's got high dislikes, before the person even starts talking, I scroll down to the comments because I'm like, why is this being disliked so much? Let's see why. Oh, here's why. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Oh, yeah, I tried that. That didn't work for me. Actually, it ruined the product. Oh, really? Okay. I don't need to listen to what he got to say, nor do I need to try his method because I already know it doesn't work. And those are things that, like, taking away the dislike button kind of removes that ability to kind of determine ahead of time whether you're wasting your time with something or not. But we can move on. We can move on to another topic that is probably going to it is
this topic.
it's probably going to be really interesting for our homie Erodimus in the chat, because he clearly super chatted that I didn't want to play as a black woman protagonist in the game.
Ramon, they need to hire you on their writing staff before they start talking about things.
Yeah, so look, well, I might end up getting copyright claim. This video might not last the night, okay? This episode might not last the night, and here's why. So like this, I don't know why it got removed, but this is the IGN footage, the 4-minute footage that they put up and then subsequently took down afterwards. I don't know why they took it down. I don't know.
You were on the ball. You got this as soon as it went up.
Bro, I was going to make a video. Breaking it down and talking about it, because this is a game like I made when Forspoken was initially shown at a Sony, one of the Sony showcases. I was like, man, I love that traversal. It looks crazy. Like it looks sick. I gotta play this. And I made a video about it. I like Luminous Studios. I like the Luminous engine. I think it's a very beautiful engine. I've seen a lot of their tech demos. I've seen how it works, a lot of like explanations on how the engine works. I think it's very next gen and forward looking. I think it's great. So I've been excited for this game for a minute now. You know, black protagonist in a game. You know, all right, I'm all for it. Then I see this gameplay. So there's a couple things that we can discuss here. I don't really. Okay, I'm gonna discuss how I feel about this gameplay. Then we can talk about some of the controversy that is with this. And full disclosure, yeah, they may take this video down, because if it turns out IGN wasn't supposed to expose what they exposed, and that's why they took it down, I might get copyright claimed or copyright struck, and they might remove it. Who knows? We'll see. But hopefully that wasn't the case, and IGN just didn't like the backlash they got from some comments on it, and that is the case. But we'll see. Anyway, I think the combat looks very. I don't like the way the combat looks. It actually looks very boring on combat. The traversal looks great as usual. The world, I think, looks really great. The character models don't match the world. So like the character models seem last gen, but everything else seems very like broad,
sharp, and private.
What is a vibrant? Yeah, vibrant.
Vibrant.
Yeah,
vibrant. Like I bribed them to make the game not look as good.
Like the world looks massive, which is also something that you would expect from the same developers that did Final Fantasy 15. And Final Fantasy 15's world looked amazing, but then the character models look way better than what we're seeing here, and that's frustrating. Like this combat, like it doesn't appeal to me. It just doesn't. Now, okay, but before we get into the controversy, Forte, have you seen this gameplay before? What you're watching right now? Have you seen it?
I didn't see. By the time you told me about it, the IGN, like you said, came down already. So this is the first time looking at it. It's. I mean, this is the thing though. It's kind of hard to get. Look at that, he's like a zombie running towards him with his hands in the air like that.
Yo, that part was hilarious.
He was like, ah! But I mean, I don't want to cast aspersions against it just because it doesn't seem like it's, because there's a difference in looking at the game and watching it versus playing it yourself. So the gameplay may be a little bit more tactile when you're doing it in the moment yourself and stuff, but yeah, it doesn't look as interesting as I thought it was. Like the actual like combat like this. I think if they like the parts where you see the bigger bosses and stuff like that, that's where it's going to shine the most. But you're not going to do that consistently throughout the game. You're going to be going against the rank and file, enemies for the most part throughout the whole game. And the one thing I will say, a game like God of War, best game that felt like they came out last generation. Even when you were fighting the normal rank and file enemies, you felt the combat was like still just as good. It was even better when you was fighting against the bigger bosses and everything, and the set pieces were amazing. But just moment to moment combat felt great. It is, it just like Halo's moment to moment combat when you're in fight, where you're fighting, feels really, really good. So how it looks and how it actually performs and plays when you're doing it, we won't know that until it actually comes out. But I will tell you, it does seem very underwhelming just looking at, what we're seeing on the screen, because the things that they showcased at first, they show like the movement, they show some of the bigger set pieces you had, but now you get a chance to see the normal, day-to-day enemies that you're going to probably be fighting, and that just didn't seem interesting at all.
Yeah, and probably my biggest issue with the combat is that the traversal is so fast and fluid, and then you get to the combat
and it's so slow.
And I've seen some people, when I discussed this on Twitter, I saw some people say that, that's just that the person playing the game sucks at playing the game. And I'm like, that might be the case.
That might be the case.
Yeah, but we don't know that for certain. This is all that we know is what we see from the combat, and what I see is a combat that she does all this fast movement to get to an area where she's fighting people, and then she's fighting people, and she's just kind of walking around, circling a bunch of like really weird looking, stiff looking, zombie looking people, and I'm just like, this isn't really it. This isn't what I thought I was going to be getting into. Now I'm still interested in the game, but so far, my enthusiasm is a little less than what it once was before. Now, I guess we can go ahead and get into
There's nothing wrong with that either. It's the game still has time to show out and make you want to be more interested into it. The showcase isn't over when it comes to that, but I do think a lot of people are just. It takes a lot to impress people, especially if you start out, showing very fast movement in your game. People are expecting that movement to match they're expecting the combat to match the speed of the game that you're playing at when you first showcase it, because for the most part, every game how fast you move is how fast the gameplay. You think of games like Scarlet Nexus. When you're moving around, combat is just fast and furious in that game. And then other games that have riddle keys, they have a speed to them, but then when that speed is kind of broken up, it kind of just throws off the whole aesthetic of the game and stuff. And I think that can be a detriment to people sticking with the games. Like, I love it when it's in the open world, but when you get into those bogged down centerpieces of just moment to moment combat, it's like, oh my God, can I just please not fight anything until I get to something better?
Yeah. I'm looking at that weird guy chase her again. It's just so funny. You can't unsee it once you see it. It's hilarious.
Now, see, look at this. This is cool. Like the
powers are cool.
The powers look amazing, but they look so out of place. Like like I guess it's supposed to be overpowered, but it just doesn't look like it's in place when it comes to the things she's doing in the environment with the enemies she's doing it against. But like I said, this could just be a starting area. We don't know. There's no context to it. But we also have been wrong about a lot of games in the past. Guardians of the Galaxy didn't look good, and nobody was interested in that. And look what happened.
Right. All right. So let's get into some of the. I hate to have to. I hate that this keeps coming up, but it is what it is, and it needs to be addressed when it does. So Forte, I'll start it off like this. Forte,
yeah,
the main character name's Freya. being portrayed, motion capped or performed by, what is her name? Ella. I was about to look it up now because I don't want to get her name wrong. But it's her first name's Ella. I want to get her last name real quick. She was in the last Charlie's Angels movie.
Charlie's Angels.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she did good in that movie.
Ella Balinska. Good God. Balinska. Yeah, there we go. Balinska. Ella Balinska. She is the actress portraying Frey in this game. So when you look at Frey, how would you describe this character?
She's mixed. You just talk about just an appearance?
Yes, appearance.
She's African. You can definitely tell she's African American. She's a minority. I mean, it just comes down. She's definitely a minority. Her, it's like more of the, oh man, just the.
Let me tell you why.
I have some things.
No.
If I want to say it.
No. It's fine because what you said was exactly what most people would say, that she is a. I don't think she's African American. I actually think she's a Black British actress. I think
she's definitely mixed.
Yeah, but I bring this up because I think it was the IGN employee who said this. He described her, and this is a Caucasian man, described her as dark skinned.
Huh?
Yeah.
They just didn't want to. What's wrong with just calling her African American or just calling her Black?
Here's the wild thing: he called her dark skinned. Then he added all these other descriptors: person of color, black, black woman. I'm just like, why didn't you just say that? Why did you like? First of all, she's not even.
She's a dark-skinned woman, huh?
She's barely darker than I am. I'm considered light-skinned around for Black people.
Oh yeah. And you get people in trouble. Your complexion.
Stop.
You're the reason that most dark-skinned African Americans can't get by.
Oh, you know what? You need to stop. You need to stop. People gonna start taking that.
We got to give our light-skinned counterparts we got to give them everything they can get, man. Y'all light-skinned counterparts, man. You guys get everything. We don't get nothing.
See, look, we're gonna stop this colorism going on right now. See, anyway. Look, man, get back on topic.
You were blessed to come out as high yellow as you did, sir.
No, see, no, we're not gonna perpetuate this stuff. No, dark skin. No, dark skin is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, and
light skin is too.
So and let me not say this is loud because I want my wife here.
Especially with green eyes.
Some of the most beautiful women that I have dated in my life have been dark skinned, and we just want to leave that there. Is
your significant other light or dark?
Oh, she's the same complexion as me, but the reason why I'm bringing this up is that the IGN writer made a point to talk about her skin color, and she's not. Black people would not consider her to be dark skinned at all, but I'm sure a white person would look at her and be like, "Oh, she's dark skinned," and it's just like, I think it's problematic, and here's why: because there are actual dark skinned sisters who always feel like they never get the kind of some of the stuff that you was just joking around saying about me, a few minutes ago, that they never get the kind of opportunities that Ella gets. That like a darker, actual dark skinned Black woman wouldn't get the role that she has because that they don't fit the complexion.
They don't fit the complexion of what they're looking for.
Exactly. And she's not dark skinned. You know who's dark skinned? The actress that played opposite of I can't remember the guy's name, but we just talked about Sonic the Hedgehog. The black woman that played his wife. She's dark skinned, okay?
She's gorgeous.
She's absolutely gorgeous. That's a dark skinned woman. I don't like seeing white people using those kind of descriptors when literally everybody is darker than you. Just straight up.
Into that context, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, look, you know, I got a story to say real quick. All right, I was in college, one of my many colleges. I went to 3 colleges. My first college, and
why did you go to 3 colleges?
It's a long story, bro.
How many did you get kicked out of?
One.
Oh, you actually did get kicked out.
Like I said, as long as
it's a different time. DPS after dark.
Okay, yeah. Look, we're not gonna get into why, but so I'm at the school, you know, and school not to be named, and it's a primarily white school, and so I'm meeting a lot of different people. A lot of different people are meeting a lot of other different people that they don't really hang out with. This particular young lady, this particular white young lady, and first time being around a lot of black people. Yeah. She was, in our first semester, she was consistently getting me, light-skinned me, mixed up with a very dark-skinned guy that lived in the same dorm as us. She was always calling him me and me him. Always getting our names mixed up. The way Enrique gets you and our names mixed up half the time. And I'm just like,
I never get that either.
And I'm like, but you're looking like, even when we're right beside each other and we're just like, can you not tell the difference between me and him? Because our skin tones are like 5 shades apart. How can you not tell the difference? And I think it's something to do with, and shout out to Apex for subbing to the channel. I appreciate you, sir.
Shout out to Apex, bro.
Or ma'am, whoever it is, sir. She, he, him, God. They, whatever, right?
Shout out to the person named Apex that subbed to the channel.
Right.
Because you know, in 2021, we got to make sure we're really political correct with the way that we thank people.
They, them, he, she. We will cover all the pronouns, right?
You notice how everybody on their Twitter bios have he, she, not he, she. What is it? What is they? He, him, she, them. I'm like, what's really going on here?
Yeah, look.
Can we just say, like, I was telling, I'm going to a rant. I was talking to somebody on the phone, and the person sound, you know, you just being polite. I was talking to like Comcast, and they was helping me with my modem. And when I got off the phone, he said, well, thanks for calling Comcast. You think I help you? I said, no, you've been an absolute help. She's like, okay, well, I appreciate you. You have a good holiday. I said, you too, ma'am. And my wife was like, don't say ma'am. You don't know if that's a ma'am. I was like, oh, I don't. But then again, I have heard guys that sound like memes before, and it's
we're not gonna get into this topic. We cut right there. Cut it. We won't. Before
but
this,
no, I'm just saying it's now.
True.
It's
very
the
true.
World we live in now, so there's nothing you can really do about it. It just comes down to, doing what you need to do.
Look at Ramon in the chat. We know what Ramon looks like. He said he got told he looks like Tupac. How could Ramon look like Tupac?
Listen, man, everybody that's bald and got a beard, got a like that little mustache.
Oh
like
man,
Tupac.
Oh yeah,
everybody.
Hey, look.
Aronovan said this sounds like a skunk-ass topic.
Well, I mean, look, I think it's important to discuss it because it is sometimes on Scumcast we'll discuss topics that have nothing to do with gaming, but this topic does have something to do with gaming because I think it is part of the discussion in regards to representation and making sure that people are represented correctly and making sure that the developers as well are respecting different cultures and different walks of life and the stories of those people. And so that kind of gets into another part of this controversy because there is I don't think this was from the IGN reporter, but it may have been. But there was a line about how Ella what she brought to the table, what she brought to the role, and someone said that she brought a very Forte. Hold up. Let me. She brought a very hip hoppy walk to the role.
Huh?
Hip hoppy.
Oh Lord.
Hip hoppy. I'm gonna say it multiple times. Hip hoppy. I gotta say it multiple times. I never actually heard those words said before. Hip hoppy.
Yeah, that makes no sense. Like, even we don't even talk like that.
Bro.
What are you talking about?
Bruh. Look, if Frey was being portrayed as any other ethnicity, would she be called, her way of movement or walk be called hip hoppy?
No.
Matter of fact, I'm looking at the way she walks and moves now.
Yeah,
I don't see the.
Looks like a normal person running to me.
What?
Like, she literally looks like a person that's running. That's it. I would have never. This is the thing. Sometimes keep your comments, keep your statements to yourself, because this is just doesn't sound or look good at all.
Yes.
No one would know this if you didn't come out and say that. Like, nobody would have been looking at her like, oh, she looks like she runs like a African American or a black skin, a dark skinned person that likes hip hop. Nobody would have ever thought that. It would have never crossed anybody's mind. They were just like, oh, look, people would have been like, oh, we got another protagonist that is being portrayed by, a minority, and that's a good thing. We always want more minorities to be in lead roles when it comes to games. We want them in movies. We want them in different professions when it comes to like sports teams and stuff like that. We want them as many places as we can get them, because that's solely under represented inside our community. But if you never say any of those things about that, no one would ever even knew that was the design philosophy behind your game. And now you're making your design philosophy just look stupid.
Yeah, it's frustrating to me, because it always seems like we take some steps forward and then immediately take some more steps backwards. And
now part of me wants to say this. Part of me, I truly look, and I'm not letting them off the hook. Part of me, I just don't know if a lot of these executives know exactly how to talk about their ideology around why they hire, people of color for different roles. I think they want to come out and say certain things, but they don't want, like, they're super cautious in the things that they say, because they know every little thing could be scrutinized when it comes to the way that you talk about, the reason you're doing this and the reason you're doing that. Whereas when it comes to like more traditional, like Nathan Drakes and stuff like that, everybody, you can say whatever you want to say, because that's pretty much been the norm, and there's really nothing you have to say why you went in this direction, what was the design philosophy around this, because it's something that we have experienced pretty much as long as video games has been around, especially in the 3D age. But now that we're getting more into this diversity side of it, people are trying to come out and talk about this stuff, and it seems like they don't know how to do it. And when they do it, it comes off like tone deaf. Like, okay, why is this? And now you bring more questions to the narrative than needed to be in that narrative in the first place. Yeah,
and there's this whole talk now that, like, these are, Luminous Studios is Luminous Productions is a Japanese studio. It was created out of the Final Fantasy team that is under Square Enix. So they're primarily Japanese people who will not have a lot of exposure to black people. The writers, though, are Western. And so some of the writers are Amy Hennig, who, most people are aware of Amy Hennig. Used to work for Naughty Dog, Uncharted series. Did a lot of work on Uncharted 3 and Uncharted 4. Also, Gary Whitta. And if you're not familiar with Gary Whitta,
Star Wars.
Yeah, Rogue One. The Rogue One story. He also did After Earth. Matt, the best. Yep. But he also did the book of Eli, which I really liked.
Which is really good. I love the Book of Eli.
Right, and so these are people who've got great credentials, but then they also don't really. Although Book of Eli it featured Denzel, but there was really nothing more. I mean, look,
you put Denzel in a movie, ain't nobody questioning anything.
Right, but look, if you look at Book of Eli, there's nothing about Denzel's character that is specific to a particular race or anything. Anybody could have played that role.
They don't even really.
And you wouldn't even have to change the script.
Yeah, you could change. Like, it's just like, okay, think about like not Max Payne, Mad Max. You certain characters you could just no matter, just paint a different color on the person and it's still the same movie.
Yeah, like
Book of Eli.
The character has the character has nothing to do with like the role of that character within that movie or that story has nothing to do with like their background at all. It doesn't.
Nothing at all.
So like that's kind of what I've noticed with his work is that there is nothing there, as well as Amy Hennig there, that would say like, oh, they really know how to take care of a black woman's role. And I've also seen things said that Ella has a hand in the development of this. Or of the care of her character, which, I'm not going to say that is the case or not. I'm also not going to say that Gary and Amy can't handle this story with care, but I would like to have seen some people of color on the writing side of things. Go ahead. I'm sorry. No, they're look. We got people like Ramon Terrell in the chat, people who've written books, people who are writers. Like, there are black writers out there. They just never get consulted for the kind of things that involve black people, period. So it's just like, I would feel better about the entire, game if like there was a black voice in the writing team that could kind of speak to certain things, to make sure things seem authentic, to make sure things that phrase says don't seem awkward or out of place, that kind of stuff. And I'm not, for those who may think, oh, well, you're already prejudging the game. I'm still going to play the game. I do not know anything about the story like that. From what I've seen from the dialogue, I did say this. I said it seemed very CW-ish to me. It's the parts of the dialogue that I heard, which is not a compliment. But that said,
which version of CW? The Flash version? Or?
No, well, look, the Flash is not good right now. So yeah, look, very CW in dialogue and in the dialogue, that kind of stuff. All I'm saying is I'm not prejudging it. I will, when the game comes out, I will judge the story and its content then. And I'll definitely be picking it up at launch on PC. I
think the one thing that people, especially like I said, I don't think you're putting the game in a box and saying this is just terrible. It's just that there's certain things that you would like to see happen. Like when it comes to movies, they do like some of the best movies. They pull from experiences, especially if they're doing especially if it's something that was true to life or something like that, or just experience that something that a lot of people can relate to. They tend to pull from the experience of people that actually know about that stuff, especially like war movies and stuff like that. They pull from, it's super uncomfortable that it is for people to like go back and do Pearl Harbor when that movie was released. One of the best movies that ever released. For people to they went out and got people to actually experience that. They got, the writing team went back and forth with people during those experiences, and even knowing that was some of the most traumatic stuff and PTSD, having stuff that happened in their life. They still did it because they wanted that story to be told in a way where it actually was factual to what was going on. And this isn't nowhere near the same level of something like that. But when you're talking about a character of color, minority, or anything like that, and you want that to be portrayed in your game, don't you think you want to have somebody on the writing staff that says, when they're, going through and writing for them, saying, this is something that I think probably needs to be changed, or something that we need to add to do this. I don't think this will fit good with the character. So, just have a voice in the room. Not to say that it has to be the overarching voice of them saying, if it's not this way, it can't be done. Just that person needs to be in the room, because if you don't live it, how do you know about it?
Right.
And that's the thing that's missing from a lot of these different roles when people get cast for this stuff. I think it's just, they look at that person and say it's just another person, and they just paint a brush over them. And that is something that kind of needs to change over the course. It needs to change for us to be better. And, and maybe I think she had a great experience, more than likely, doing this role. Probably was happy in the fact that she was chosen to be the protagonist of this game, and did all of the VO and did all of the different motion capture and stuff. I think she had an amazing time probably doing it, but it still is something that is, when you have the execs and people coming out and talking about it, and they don't present it in the way that it kind of is consumable to not just the wider audience, but to the audience you're kind of speaking to, by bringing attention to the fact that this is a woman of color. That's where your mistake was, because you're not getting it when it comes to that.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, look, I don't want to, slam the topic any further than we already have. And again,
both try the game out. Game looks
amazing.
Yeah,
absolutely. Like it's definitely a cop, and I just hoping that I'm hoping it's going to be more of like it's actually. How I feel about the game right now is as bad as how I felt about Guardians of the Galaxy before it came out.
And we know how that went.
And that turned out to actually do a complete 180 and turn out to be a really, really good game. So hopefully that's the case with Forspoken, and that turns out to be a really good game, and everyone enjoys it.
And I think that's what Real Razar, he just said they would have been better off not saying anything about it. And that 100% is factual right there. They didn't have to say anything about why they did what they did and why they picked her as a character. They could have just said, this was the vision for the character. This is something that we wanted to definitely do. She fit the role very well for what we was looking for in that character. And that's why we did it. Didn't have to say anything else. And guess what? We wouldn't be talking about this, and it wouldn't be articles written about it, talking about something that honestly should not matter. It should just matter that a woman of color is in a spot that all of us want to see more people in. That's all that should matter. But it's more than that now.
Yep. We can move on now to a topic that we both of us have been kind of looking forward to speaking about. Forte, man. Let's talk about some Halo Infinite, man. Halo Infinite
campaign.
So
what you want to talk about, man? You beat the game.
I did. How
many hours did it take you?
I don't know. I really don't know how many hours that was. I'm thinking probably it was anywhere between 10 to 12 hours to beat the game.
Do you know your campaign completion percent?
What do you mean by that?
It tells you in there how much of the campaign you complete.
Oh, I mean, look, I didn't check. I honestly
Oh,
didn't
you
check.
didn't check. Okay.
What I looked at when I beat the game, it was less than 1% of the people who had played Halo Infinite had beat the game at that point. So
There's a lot of people playing it now. A lot of the achievements are getting above 20-30% now, but it's still a lot. But it's still really interesting looking at some of the achievements where some people haven't even done the dig site yet. It's like 15%.
Yeah, but look, I also kind of feel like the achievements for the campaign are being the people who are just playing the free multiplayer are being added into that too.
Oh, they are, because it's all the same pool,
right? And so like these are like what's being added into that percentage of people who don't even own the campaign because they don't have Game Pass or they didn't choose to buy it. They don't have Game Pass, and they didn't choose to buy it, and they haven't installed it. So like because like I remember people were talking about getting diamond achievements off of the first couple of missions, and it's just like, well, why are you getting diamond achievements off of that if someone just started playing the game? And it has to be.
I heard Brad complaining about that.
Yeah. So
you, Brad.
So I do kind of believe that like it's the system where they determine like how many people out of the pool of players have done something is I think it's including people who are strictly only just playing the multiplayer. But regardless of that, I thought it was a good campaign. I enjoyed it. It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. I don't see where people are giving 10s out of 10s.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand that at all. It's not.
I heard you get into a fight with people about that.
we ain't going to discuss that either. But you know, it's I'll talk about some things that I liked about the campaign first, and then talk about some things that I disliked. So some things that I liked, I'm glad that Joseph Staten worked hard to get the Marines following you around. As you see that one Marine is following me around. I like that. I like that, you know, you can save them and they're like captured, and you can release them and then they'll fight with you and stuff like that. Like, although that's been very much a thing with Halo in the past, but they've expanded upon it a little bit where these Marines will follow you all over the Halo ring.
Yeah, they will.
And as your Valor gets higher, more and more Marines are available at stuff like the forward operating bases and stuff like that. So I do like that part of it. The gunplay is we talked about this with the multiplayer, but the gunplay is the best gunplay 343 has developed. It's definitely enjoyable. It is the best part of this game. Is the gameplay, the moment gameplay is top notch. 343 deserves their kudos for that. And the story really, it's not a bad story, man. Like I think it's a decent story. I actually warmed up to the weapon. I didn't know how I would feel about the weapon, but I like the weapon. I do not like the pilot. The pilot's annoying. And
I like his designation they give him when they finally put his name up there.
What Echo 216?
Yeah, Echo 216.
That's the name of the
name. He has a designation.
Well, he does have a name.
He has a name, but
you'll find it out later. But
you find it out after.
Yeah, they call him the name of his. I think that was the name of the Pelican that you find him in. But he's annoying. Like for the majority of the story, he's just complaining. You understand why later on why he is the way he is, but it still doesn't change the fact that I found him annoying. It is what it is. The vehicles at times are problematic. For a lot of the time it's problematic. This is probably the worst, as I'm saying this, is you see me struggling with the Warhog. This is probably the worst controlling Warhog in any Halo game. The vehicles with you got this huge Halo ring, and you got this rocky terrain, and the vehicles, like you hit a rock and it's like you go flying, and you can't go past like the ghost can't hover over small pebbles. It's like I think Eric Jackson said last night on Brap, he said, like, you know, I hit a dandelion and go flying. It's just like, what's happening here? And as you see that, I just flipped over.
Yeah.
it's just, The vehicle's
So you shouldn't be
frustrating.
going up a mountain like that.
Well, I shouldn't be going up a mountain. Look, man, look.
You know Halo.
Mass Effect 1 had a Mako that I could go up a mountain with, okay?
But we're not going to compare the this Warthog is still better than that Mako could ever be. That Mako still sucked.
It still sucked, but this Warhawk sucks too. Okay, they both suck.
They definitely, the Warhawk sucks.
This is the part where I just got frustrated and I just flew down the hill and somehow I landed on the 4 wheels. Anyway, I like how at the forward operating bases that you can just you can get your favorite loadouts, like the favorite weapons you want to roll with. You want to roll with a battle rifle every single time, which is pretty much what I did. When I'm at a FOB, I make sure I get another battle rifle when I can. I do think this game was designed with co-op in mind, and the fact that it does not have co-op is a major L for the game. At the forward operating bases, you will see 4 terminals where you can get weapons from. Why would that even be necessary if you're just in the game solo, or if you were just if they were just going to have 2-player co-op? I think they definitely intended on 4-player co-op with this game. It's just that they were somehow, for some reason, not able to get that ready and implemented before launch, which is another reason why I feel like this game should have been delayed. But all that said, I think it's a good campaign. It's the best campaign that 343 has done, but it doesn't really measure up to, say, the best campaigns from previous Halo games, like Halo 3. Halo Reach has a way better campaign, I think. Just like you can even say even for me, mostly with nostalgia, but Halo Combat Evolved, I still enjoyed probably more than this one, but this is a good campaign. The boss battles are enjoyable. I had a good time with it, and I played it on heroic, for those who are wondering. I beat it on heroic. I'll go do my legendary playthrough later on, but I think it's a good game. The issues. One of my last good things to talk about. Oh man, the grunts are hilarious, and the grunt propagandists. Because I just saw the propaganda tower, and he came up in my mind. That grunt, that guy he needs whoever did voice him needs a raise. That he's hilarious. He is absolutely hilarious. Rodimus, that is spam. Just go ahead and delete that, and then just go ahead and delete when people are writing that in the chat, and just hide the person that does it, because clearly they're just like a bot or something. My issues, I talked about the vehicles not being that great. The open world aspect is not very fleshed out. Yeah, you got 3 different. It's very much a Ubisoft kind of open world, which is not really what you want to see from open world, because Ubisoft open world is just very generic and the same stuff over and over and over again. Where in the Ubisoft game, you will go to a tower and you'll use that tower to reveal all of the side content in the area, and then it's all the same side content you would see in other parts of the same map. Halo Infinite does the same thing, which I wonder, the 2/3 of the stuff that was cut out, according to Jason Schreier, the 2/3 of the campaign that was cut out 2 years ago, I wonder how much of that would have made this open world have a bit more variety than it currently has. I don't know, but essentially what you have is, what I'm doing right now is I'm taking a forward operating base in the gameplay I'm showing right now. You take forward operating bases, you unlock them. Now they are held by the UNSC, the humans. And then when you do that, it then opens up, say, hey, we got high value targets around you. There are other squads and companies of UNSC soldiers that are captured. And those open up, and then you can take those if you choose to. Mm-hmm. And earlier in the show, you were talking about how you see those things that you just have to You just have to go do that stuff, you know? Like you got to go do it. And for me, I just kind of like there wasn't much to it. Now, like the high value targets, they'll give you a little description of who they are and why they are considered a high value target, how infamous they are and stuff like that. And if you kill them,
so funny.
Yeah, true, very true. And you'll take them out, and then once you take them out, you'll get like a specialized version of one of the weapons that they carry, which is cool, which does give you somewhat of an incentive to go take them out, but it's not super necessary. I think the way they did the controls for the switching your utility is extremely frustrating. You have to hit right on a directional pad, and then you have to hit another directional pad to change your utility. In order to do that, you got to take your thumb off of the left thumbstick.
Yep.
Which means you're not moving.
Controller.
Oh, well, look, even if look, you have an elite controller, right? I have a elite controller. If I mapped right thumbstick to one of my paddles, I still need to hit something else in order, like somewhere another button on a directional pad, in order to change the utility.
Unless you change all your buttons to be your back buttons. Yeah, you're right.
But you just like it's just like that is. I don't see how that could work. Like, especially if you were already trying to use, like for me, I use the furthest right bumper on my elite controller for melee, because I have a habit of hitting my right thumbstick while I'm shooting, and then I end up meleeing somehow in the middle of shooting, and it's frustrating, ends up getting me killed sometimes, whether I'm in multiplayer or not. And so I switched melee to down on directional pad, and then I mapped that to my bumper. Therefore, that's how I melee. And so did I have the AI scan or whatever else actually on the press again right thumbstick, and this works for me. And I'm cool with that. But that would remove me having any way of mapping the entire utility to all those bumpers. And that should not be a way that you have control set up, that someone has to have a $200 controller or $150 to $200 controller in order to quickly go through changing their utility. They should have had implemented some kind of weapon wheel. That would have been a lot better. But like the way it is right now, it's not conducive to being an easy method of switching your utility. I think the grappling hook is great. I think it works great. It completely changes how people can play through a game, and when you're in trouble, you can grapple out of the situation, get away from the enemies. It's awesome. I think I know some people felt like the other utilities weren't that useful. I tried to make a point to use as many of them as possible, even when I didn't feel like the shield. I probably used the shield way more than I needed to, but I used it. It's essentially, I would like, whenever I used the shield, it was like a pre-planned attack on a certain area. I would throw the shield out and then start attacking enemies from behind it. You actually have to make a conscious decision to use it, basically. And the grappling hook's cool. The enemy sensor is, I feel like, so situational. It's basically best used against the Sangeli elites because they all can turn invisible on you now. Like all of them have their secondary as a with the sword, and they have the cloak, and so you can use that against them. And when you shoot off the enemy scanner in the same area that they are, it will reveal them whether they're cloaked or not. So it's I think overall it's a good campaign. I enjoyed it. I enjoy playing it. It's a lot of fun. But I still have to acknowledge that it's an incomplete game. It's the only Halo game that's ever released with no co-op.
Mm-hmm.
And and as much as people don't want to acknowledge that needs to be addressed, it's not acceptable, man. Like that, to have a Halo campaign release with no co-op. I've been talking a lot. Let me let you get your words in. I think as a campaign, if I had to put a score on it, I'd give it an 8 as a campaign. I think it's an 8.
That's actually still really good score.
It's a very good score. Yeah.
I think the campaign is okay. So let's just go back to what I said, because a lot of people hear me. I hold no punches when it comes to 343, because they took one of my favorite franchises and they made it just a laughing stock over the course of the last generation, I felt. And I never really got over the whole Master Chief kerfuffle and stuff like that. It's better now, but I'm always going to give Halo the opportunity to impress me because I love Halo. So as long as 343 is working on Halo, I'm always going to give 343 a chance with it. And I kept telling people that I think this was the last opportunity for 343 to really make Halo into something. And I feel like they did it. I feel like this is the stepping stone to a better Halo in general. The guns always feel good. I feel like, have they not been as great as other Halo games? Absolutely. But I think they finally hit that marriage of gameplay and gunplay at the same time. I feel like the multiplayer and single player I think the multiplayer is still better than the single player, but I do think the multiplayer can stand on its own, especially as more content hits. It's going to get better and better with time, and that might be one of the critiques of the game, the fact that they are going with this long-term plan, and what it would have been nice to just get a coherent beginning to end Halo game before they decided to do this. Because a lot of people basically still don't trust 343 to land the plane, because as of right now, the plane is still in the air. We're still waiting for the other shoe to drop, and I think that's going to be what they're really defined on when it comes to it. But for what they gave us, this is really good. It's compelling. The story is actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Me, like you, I didn't know how I was going to feel about the weapon, and I am truly impressed with the way that they portray her in the game. Shout out to Jen Taylor, who does the voice for her, does it for Cortana,
and Catherine Mosley. The war criminal. I always have to say that she's a war criminal. She's the one that literally went in the dark of night and took kids out of their homes. So, shout out to her for being able to distinctly do those different characters and the different mannerisms that those characters have. So I think that was a really, really good performance on her end. And as much as Master Chief doesn't talk a lot, I do feel the impact of the things he does say in this campaign. Like the things he shows a bit more emotion in this game than he has previously. Yeah.
And they're still playing on the whole Cortana and Master Chief, heartstrings. Every time Cortana comes up, it's more of it's like this deep, Master Chief just sits there. He thinks about it for a second. They try to bring him more in line to like what the human emotion would be every time he sees a dead Spartan, or every time he sees a fallen, comrade. He sits and he, ponders everything that's going on. And we don't know what's going on in his head, but this is the first time that we felt like, even emotionally, just without saying words, that Chief they humanized him a little bit more. So
you find dead Spartans all over the all over the ring.
And that's how you get your upgrades.
Yep, you get your upgrade equipment off of the armor that they had before they died. And when you find them, the weapon will tell you who it is,
who they were,
how long they've been dead, and Chief, you can tell, how they can tell Chief may have known a few of them, but like there's a kinship with Spartans and what they've gone through. Oh, but yeah.
Especially the last one that we won't spoil.
Right.
The last one, and he was like, he asked, when you do something, he's like, was that them? And she was like, no, they're still alive. He said, okay.
Yeah, because there's a particular banished enemy that has pretty much killed all of them. Even though there are Spartan hunters all over the map, some of which apparently may have taken out Spartan Locke. I mean, look, here's the thing. I'm not gonna say it's a spoiler because we don't really know what happened to Locke. We know that there is a particular boss that you'll run into that has Locke's helmet. And the grunt propaganda speaker that you hear talking trash to you will eventually speak about how that particular character took Locke's helmet as a trophy. But there is no actual like outright statement that Locke is dead or anything. So we don't know. But it is like the little things like that I found interesting. And as you said about the chief showing a little bit more emotion than usual. Usually what we get from Chief is, let's finish the fight.
Right.
I need a gun. That's it. Like, these are the kind of like one-liners that you get from Chief, period. And in this one, like, you know, there are some other questions in regards to how he feels about Cortana, how he feels about what's going on, how he feels about what happened in that opening cutscene. And the weapon's curiosity kind of works because the weapon is new to all of this. She's a new AI. She doesn't know a lot of what's happening. She was created for a specific purpose, which is to stop Cortana. And outside of that, she don't really have a lot of information. When you first get her, she don't even know what the banished is. So for her, like, she's new to the chief and she doesn't know what's going on. And so like it's a smart like writing tool to have like this kind of character for newer players to the series to answer, you know, common sense questions that other Halo fans already know. That said, I think some of the writing is a bit like, well, I'm gonna go back to my dislike of the pilot. The pilot, this dude is complaining every time you talk to him. You're gonna get us killed, Chief. We're all gonna die. You know, wham, all the time. You get one conversation with him and then he does a complete 180, and it's just like, is that how character development is? I don't think so. You know, I'm not an award-winning writer or anything, but usually when you see character growth, it's a gradual process. There are events that happen that then like urge someone into changing who they are and how they act, and maybe seeing the error and some of the things that they were doing or saying, and then endeavoring to be better, but not necessarily being perfect and being better. Like, that's like character growth, right?
Right.
This is just like, I had a talk, now I'm different now. I'm a different person. Rah, let's go.
Right.
And it's just like, that's not how this works. So I don't know what's going on in their narrative team, if they got some people who are really good at stuff and they had specific tasks, like specific things to work on. They worked on the weapon and they were great with that. And then like whoever was working on the pilot, you know, was, you know, brand new to this kind of stuff and didn't know what they were doing. I don't know. My bad. I am taking up your time. Go ahead, man.
No, you're good. No, but in general, I think the game is really good. It's compelling to the point where I don't want to put it down. You know me, Destiny through and through. And I literally haven't, I mean, I jumped on probably 3 times since this game has been on to play Destiny, and just to do some stuff with Luca and Taz. But for the most part, I'm just playing Halo. And like I said, my OCD is kicked in where I can't even complete the game until I get to this other island and do all that stuff over there, because I want to beat the campaign so I can get back to my Onyx grind and conquer that part of the game, and then I could probably move on to something else. And I'm gonna tell you, this game has probably been the best thing that's happened for me in general, because it's opened me up to just getting out of that space where Destiny was the only thing I wanted to play. It's been a while since, like I said, since pretty much God of War, where I took this type of extended break from playing the game as much as I have been.
Mm-hmm.
So this game speaks to me more than anything, because my first love has always been Halo. And it's really nice to see the Halo franchise thriving the way it needs to be thriving as of right now. Now, long term, I don't know what that means for the game, because right now it's still the honeymoon phase. I don't know how many people are going to still be playing, Halo Infinite when it comes to like January and February.
I think it would be significantly less.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot less, because the closer we get to February, a lot of those other games are coming out. And the one thing that I know, we talked about this a couple of DPSs ago, the one thing that they have to figure out and conquer is what is next. How do you bring people back? That's the one thing I will give, Massive Entertainment. I'll give Gearbox. I'll give Bungie. I'll give all of these developers that work on these long-lasting, these
ongoing
games.
Mm-hmm.
Is they, Bungie and a lot of these other people, they know how to bring you back. Now, when they bring you back, is it compelling enough to keep you there? Now, there's only been a couple of developers that's been able to keep you there, but everybody has found a way to bring you back. And that's the thing I want to know, what's going to happen with Halo Infinite. Is everybody going to just take a break until season, once they get so far and they get their fill of the multiplayer, are they going to want to come back and play, just to play in this season? Or are they going to wait for the next content drop, or are they going to wait for season 2 to come back? Because I do think Halo has a very loyal audience, and the free to play is going to definitely enlarge that audience. But I don't think the mass majority of people are going to stick around for the long term until that next content drops for the single player. I think the way that they market that,
well, I think it also kind of depends on when is the next content drop for the campaign, because like
5 months, 6 months, a year.
And look, I'm highly critical of Destiny, as everyone knows, but one thing I will always kind of say, like I always give Bungie its respect for, is how they stick to, they are when it comes to these ongoing games, they are the best at sticking to delivering something to the Destiny community. It may be trash content as far as I'm concerned, but at least it's content. Because look, as a Division fan, we like I was about to make that a topic tonight, but I ain't want to be yelling. I feel like people feel like I'm yelling at them for an entire 30 minutes. But the Division once again has delayed their content drop, which will be to late 2022, which means that by the time it comes out, if it actually comes out when they said it's going to come out, it would have been 2 years since they gave any content to the Division community, which is freaking ridiculous. Warframe, the new war came out today, but the new war was revealed 2 years ago, was supposed to come out last year.
Right.
This is the kind of stuff that you kind of get from a lot of ongoing games. Destiny at least gives you annual content.
Right.
Now, that's going to be the most difficult thing to do an ongoing game with. Can you keep up with your roadmap? Can you keep up with your content schedule? 343 is kind of remains to be seen that they can do that. Now, they did remove 2/3 of the content in the game, so maybe they're going to retool that 66% of the content that was cut out and bring it back into the game, because this Halo ring, this, unlike other Halo rings that have different biomes, this is just only one rocky terrain mountainous biome, and that's it. What about the rest of the Halo ring? Is what they're going to eventually piecemeal back in? again, I don't know, you know, or we're going to see some of the other characters, some of the other Spartans. Is Blue Team going to come back? Because Blue Team in the audio log is apparently off doing on a different mission separate from Chief. Are they going to come back at some point? Team Osiris is kind of, if you follow the books, they're kind of disbanded, but Buck from Team Osiris, Locke was definitely confirmed to be on the Halo ring, but Buck is running his old squad, Alpha 9 now. Is Alpha 9 going to show up at some point? You know, they are definitely prominent in the books, but what's going to happen with Tanaka and Kale? What's the other one's name?
Tanaka, Buck, and I think Kale.
Like there's what's going to happen with these characters? When are they coming back, right? You know, so like they have a lot to work with, but how quickly can you get the content out to actually keep people invested and keep people coming back for the game? And by the way, I think this Marine's about to get killed. Nope, not that time. You know, like the Marines are brain dead, and I think also that's kind of like they made the Marines brain dead because they didn't want them helping you too much. Although I have shout out to our homie Taz who gave them all he gave them all the beam,
the Sentinel beam.
The Sentinel beam.
You decimate people.
And he had the one, the Warhog, that doesn't have a gun in the back, so you could fit like 4 people back there, and they all just Sentinel beam in an entire HVT. Like, it was crazy. I was laughing because it looked hilarious. But I'm sorry, that's beside the point.
You're good.
When it comes to content, you have to keep people invested. Like, you look at other ongoing games that are not like in this kind of genre. They're not looter shooters. They're not really like a Halo kind of game. But you look at stuff like Apex Legends. You look at stuff like Fortnite. They're always thinking of ways, trying to find ways to keep the content fresh for their community, because they understand that if they don't, and if they rest on their laurels, or they take too long to come out with content, there's going to be another game that's going to come out that may take your community away from you. And so and even though you're going to get some people who will leave anyway, because that's just the nature of things, but if they leave your game to go play other games and they feel good about what they played and they had a satisfactory experience, when you do drop that content and you don't take too long, they're going to feel better about coming back, because the last thing they're going to remember about your game is how much fun they had.
Right.
You don't want them coming back and thinking like, man, like, you know, I had fun for a while, but then, right, you know, just like there wasn't enough to do, and there was all these bugs that never got fixed. Talking to you, Outriders, and you know, now that they got new content coming out, I just like, you know, like every time I think about that game, I think about how my inventory got wiped or how my save got corrupted, which is also happening on PC for Halo Infinite right now. Right. You know, like these are the kind of things that look, if I hadn't finished the campaign yet, and I go jump into the game and I'm like near the end and I see that my save file has been corrupted, bro, I'm done. I'm mad. I'm pissed off, justifiably so. Like you deserve to be mad, you know, on something like that happening. And these are the kind of stuff that, like, it can kill your game if you aren't careful, especially when you're having an ongoing game and you're relying on having a ongoing community of people playing it. Microsoft is relying on this game continuing to make Game Pass a attractive option. And if the game isn't doing that for you, then that's going to be a failure. But I guess we could wrap it up with our thoughts on it. I don't think you haven't finished the campaign yet. My bad. Because I did want to kind of.
I'm gonna finish it tonight or tomorrow. It'll be done by tomorrow, though.
Okay. I wish you know what, when you do get done, let me know so we can discuss the ending.
I think you want to do that.
Well, I mean, we don't have to do it on air. I'm just talking about like you and I just talk about it.
We can talk tomorrow about it because I'll be done.
I do kind of feel like it's the ending is very open ended, but I felt like they could have answered a few more questions than they did generally. But did you have any more thoughts on the campaign?
No, man. Up until this point, everything I played, I probably will go exactly where you went at 8 for the campaign. Very, very well done so far up to this point, and the thing is, I already know what was pretty much ahead of me when it comes to how disappointed I'm probably going to be with how they could have finished it. But I also hear a lot of people talking about it's not as bad as people are saying. It's like, yeah, it's left open and it makes you want more. But I also hear people saying, but that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to leave you wanting more and wanting to come back into the world as soon as possible. The question is, how long are they going to make you wait for that?
Right. But yeah, I guess we can wrap it up. Halo Infinite campaign is just a good campaign. It's got a good multiplayer. It's worth the time invested. If you're into first person shooters, if you're a Halo fan, you're already playing it, of course. But if you're thinking about jumping into it, I think it's well worth the shot, to give it a shot, or the $1 Game Pass sub to jump in and check it out. We can move on then. The last thing I wanted to do wasn't really a topic, but I guess kind of since the end of the year, I felt like we should just go ahead and discuss it. The games that we played this year, it's it's the middle of December. The year 2021 is almost in the books, and just kind of want to talk about like the games that we played and the games that we've enjoyed the most this year. And you can go ahead and start first, man.
No, you broke up a second. What did you say? You said, what about the games this year?
I said, just wanted to talk about the games that we've enjoyed this year, the games that we played this year, how many that you've played or beat this year, and then just kind of discuss like all your favorite moments of the year, that kind of stuff.
Honestly, for me, game wise, I play so much Destiny, and the next year is going to be different. But this year, so much of that Death's Door, I truly enjoyed. I enjoyed that game a lot. And then Halo will be the other one that will go down this year. I'm trying to think, was there anything else that I played to the point where I haven't beat it? But yeah, nothing else really. But for me, 2021, man, honestly, it has really come down to just, growing this platform with you. Doing this with you has been the most enjoyable thing. I look forward to my Thursdays doing this with you.
I agree.
It's the one show that I will always make sure that I am here for, no matter what. I will make my schedule what it needs to be to make sure I'm here, with the exception of like extreme circumstances that I can't change. But outside of that, I'm going to be here. Exactly. But outside of that, man, it's like that's the thing that stood out to me the most this year. Just growing this with you, 52 weeks in the year, almost at the end of it, going into 2022, seeing what we're going to do with that going in the future. But yeah, next year though, I'm gonna have a completely different answer for you when it comes to the game front, because something that I'm told myself I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start a pinned tweet at the top of my thing. And a lot of people do this, whenever they beat a game, they just have like all the games that they beat. That's my goal for 2021, is to just not just play one particular game, not just Halo, not just Destiny, get a chance to play as much stuff as possible, because the one thing I always, when I listen to people talk about different games and stuff on different podcasts, sometimes I feel like, man, do they really even know what they're talking about? Because they don't even seem like they played the game.
Right.
And
there's a whole lot of that going on.
Right. And I don't want to be that person. And especially if we want people to take this show as serious as it needs to do. So just for the benefit of the show, on top of my sanity of not being stuck in one game, I feel like I come through the other side a little bit, because I found a way to get away for a while. I don't want to sound like other people. So that's going to be my goal in 2022 when it comes to that, and make this platform even bigger for both of us. But yeah, man, it's been great. It's been amazing. Everybody know where they can find me. Gaming Forte everywhere: YouTube, Twitter, Xbox Live, PlayStation. DPS on my channel. Matter of fact, next week is Thursday, which is Christmas is on a Saturday. So yeah, we're good next week. But yeah, it's going to be a good time, and I'm happy to do this with you, Slomo. So what about you? What is your most, games that you remember the most, and what stood out to you the most in 2021?
Well, in 2020, I beat 41 games. And
yeah, you did. You beat a lot of them.
And I although I was like, they were all games I was interested in, the fact that I went on ahead and pushed through and beat some of them when normally I would have just quit the game because I didn't find it fun, was something that I made sure that for 2021 I wasn't going to do. In 2021, I wanted to make sure I played games that I beat games that I was truly enjoying, and I wanted to get that enjoyment back with playing games. You know how like Luca, our homie Luca, will always say that like Slomo plays a lot of games, but he don't like any of them. And I did have to kind of take a step back and think about, like, do I really enjoy what I play? And in some cases, no, I don't. Like, some cases, I just, like, I start a game and I beat it just because I started it, and I wanted to have another game to put on the list. And I made a concerted effort this year to not do that. So I beat 30 games this year, but these were games that for the most part, I really, really enjoyed. I want to list them off because I think that this list of games compared to my previous year's list of games, I think these are games that I will all recommend people play. So, actually, let me not say that. Because the first game on this list is not something I recommend people play. Cyberpunk 2077 is the first game I beat this year. Not exactly. Very disappointing game. The story wasn't as bad as people make it out to be. It was actually a decent story. I'm actually doing a second run through of it very slowly because I don't really have the time for it. But it just did live up to the kind of expectations that a lot of people, gaming media, gaming community, overall, everybody basically have for it. Second was Ghost of Tsushima. Loved it. I finally beat Ghost of Tsushima early this year. I played through Forza Horizon 3 for the first time, and realized what a lot of people were saying about Forza Horizon 4 and 3 being almost like the same except for the seasons. You know what? Yeah, I can't say everything on this list. This is something I would recommend. Outriders, I do not recommend. Outriders, I have fun with for a little while, and I probably have about a couple hundred hours or more in it on my Steam profile. I need to double check, but I had in-game Outriders for all 4 classes, and I played the hell out of it. But overall, when I talk about stuff like there's a game that you play and it leaves a bad taste in your mouth when you're done playing, and they come out with additional content and you don't want to come back to it. That's Outriders for me. Just how their community manager treated the community and the devs in response to a very broken game and things not working correctly. I didn't like how the lack of respect they gave people. I didn't like how, we got people like our homie Lord Cognito who went an entire month not even being able to log into the game. And right. and it seemed like they just didn't even want to acknowledge that it was happening. Like, this is craziness. But Mass Effect 1 Remastered on PS5, I have to say on PS5 because I was playing the game on both PS5 and PC, so I beat that both on both platforms. Horizon Zero Dawn on PC, which gave me an appreciation of Horizon. Good night, Rodimus. Take care, bro.
Later, Rodimus.
Gave me appreciation of that story that I didn't have prior to beating it. Gears 5, again on PC. I beat it before on Xbox. I beat it again on PC. Ratchet and Clank 2016, and then Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. So I beat 2016, and I beat it a week before Rift Apart came out, and I enjoyed both of those. I recommend those. Mass Effect 2 remastered on PS5. Aerial Knights Never Yield. Shout out to Aerial Knight. Shout out to Neil, a black man, person of color, out here doing this thing, but as an indie developer. It's a cool game. It's a very, very cool game. Probably has, I think, one of the best soundtracks in a video game to come out this year. And I think it definitely should have been nominated for some of these award shows for best soundtrack. It's pretty good. Doki Doki Literature Club. That one kind of took me by surprise. Okay. Adios was actually pretty decent. Scarlet Nexus, I really enjoyed Scarlet Nexus. Last Stop was actually a surprise. It was pretty good. I beat 12 minutes twice. I beat 12 minutes on Xbox and PC. I don't think it deserved that. My favorite game this year, Hades, is excellent. Best game I played this year. Hades is awesome. I will recommend that to any and everybody. Life is Strange True Colors. I think a return for Life is Strange after not really enjoying Life is Strange 2 or Before the Storm. I did like True Colors though. Psychonauts 2 is awesome. Play Psychonauts 2. Kena Bridge of Spirits is good. Beat that one too. I played BioShock Infinite for the first time on PC and really, really enjoyed it. I find it curious. So many people dislike it. I think the people who dislike it are people who are hardcore into the BioShock, original BioShock games. And so I think that's the reason why they dislike it. Me not really caring for the original BioShock. I enjoyed Infinite for what it was. The Dark Pictures House of Ashes, probably the best one out of the supermassive Dark Picture games. Rise of the Tomb Raider on PC, I ran through that. It was fun. Again, Guardians of the Galaxy is awesome. Play Guardians of the Galaxy. Play Guardians of the Galaxy. Let me say it one more. Play Guardians of the Galaxy. They get the story better than the MCU. They get the characters better than the MCU. It's awesome. Bright Memory Infinite. Look, that game is punching above its weight. It doesn't really hit all its punches though. It's like a 3-4 hour experience. The gameplay is okay. It's just way too short, way too buggy. But I mean, that's not in Game Pass now that I think about it. I don't know. I don't know how if I can say I recommend someone play that. The gunplay is all right. I played it for a while. It's all right. The Forgotten City though. The Forgotten City is good. Play the Forgotten City. Absolutely play the Forgotten City, man. The Forgotten City is so good with it's the time, the way they did the time loop in the Forgotten City is awesome. And the story's really good. I enjoyed it. Visually, not the most impressive, but it's a game made by like less than a dozen people. So that makes sense to me. That's it. It's an awesome game. It's just a great story. Probably one of the best stories I dealt with this year. And before playing Halo Infinite's campaign, I ran through Titanfall 2 once again. Still the best first-person shooter campaign to come out in the past decade. And then Halo Infinite, which we talked about already. So I wanted to list off those games because I thought it was just kind of cool to just like let people know what I played and what I enjoyed and what I recommend other people play. I want to do that again next year. Not hit that 41 mark, but just, somewhere in the 20s and 30s of games that I beat and I really enjoyed. I'm really looking forward to next year because I feel like there's a lot of really good content coming out next year. God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West. just you know, a lot. I'm looking forward to Redfall. You know, like there's a lot of stuff that's on the horizon, and shoot, some of the indie games that we saw at the Video Game Awards. Have a Nice Death that's supposed to come out in March. I can't wait to play that. So I think that we got a lot to look forward to in 2022, and that is it, I believe. Again, Forte, we've been having a good time doing this show. I think we got a lot of growth ahead of us in the future. Sir. And it's gonna be a lot of fun going through that and enjoying it with you, bro. But absolutely. I think we should go ahead and wrap it up. That is DPS Podcast episode 64 in the books. Will we be back next week?
Next week is Thursday's the 23rd. So it depends on what you got going on.
Yeah, we'll figure it out offline. We'll let you guys know either through Twitter or whatever else that you guys interact with us, whether we'll be back next week or not. We'll let you know. But in the meantime, thank you guys for coming through tonight. We had a great time rocking out with y'all, and we hope you guys have a great night. Peace.
Later, guys. Have a good night.